Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video we're going to be talking about The Pyramid of Success by John Wooden. It is this book here, and it is a really cool book for everybody, whether you're trying to be a better musician or a better businessman or a peak performer. This is really a Bible of peak performance, and we will go through all the different blocks of the pyramids as an introduction today, and in the next videos we will go block by block into to build that pyramid of success. So enjoy the video, and I will see you in the next one. So as we said in the intro for this video, we're going to be talking about this book, Coach Wooden's Pyramid of Success, co-written by Jay Carty. And we are going to make a whole series of videos, and in each video we're going to talk about one building block of the Pyramid of Success. Now this is a really cool book that I really recommend you to read, and not only to read but to study, and I hope that these video series is going to be a good introduction for this book. Before we actually have a look at the pyramid, I want to talk about the introduction here, Defining Success by John Wooden. And defining success is, as you know, it's not an easy task, because success cannot be generic. Success depends upon you, upon what you want to do with your life, and success is a very internal thing. And he tells us here on the second page, if I remember, yeah, here, don't try to be better than someone else, always try to be the best that you can be. A few days ago we made this video, I will link it here somewhere probably, talking about you being your biggest competitor. You have to compete against yourself every single day. You need to compete against yourself from yesterday every single day, more precisely. And anyway, this is everything that he says. If I have to, it's great to read, I really recommend you read it, but if it can be resumed into one or two sentences, is don't try to be better than someone else, try to be better than yourself. Remember that success is internal, and the definition of success is actually right here. Success is peace of mind that is the direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. And this is really, I mean, I really like this definition, and I really like his teachings in general. I think studying his books is really cool for us, either musicians or business people, or it doesn't even matter what area of life you want to improve. There is something for everybody. So now let's dig right in to the pyramid. What is the sentence that I love, that I put a heart? There is no end to living a win at all cost life, and when we follow this course we find that we have no peace of mind. So basically, don't always think about winning. He talks about this. Don't think I need to win, I need to win, I need to win. No, it's not I need to win, because if you need to win, that means you're winning against yourself. You need to win against yourself. You need to win. Every single day is kind of a game where you play against yourself from yesterday, and and this win at all costs life, this is just going to bring you a lot of stress, a lot of overwhelming feeling, and you're not going to be happy. And I mean, the point in life is not only to succeed in business or win at business, or, you know, be very famous or very rich or whatever. You know, winning the game of life means that you can actually be happy and satisfied and have peace, you know, and this is really important. And he's not some loser, you know, he's the guy that won the most national championships in the history of college basketball, which is a very competitive place, of course. So, you know, he knows about success, and of course he knows about winning. He has won a lot of competitions, etc, etc. But for today's video, let's just look at the blocks that we're going to study in this program of the pyramid of success. So there are some foundations, and he tells you in the introduction actually that sometimes he switches around some building blocks, but there are some blocks that he never switched, and those are mostly the ones at the bottom. They say if you want to know how high a building is going to be, look how deep are the foundations. And those foundations here, those building blocks at the bottom, for me, are some of the most important ones. But of course, as you go up, nothing is not important, you know. But I find that some of the base parts are the most important, and some that we should focus a little bit more on. So let's start right from the start here. The first block of the pyramid of success is industriousness. Industriousness basically meaning hard work and planning. He says there is no substitute for work. Worthwhile results come from hard work and careful planning. The second block is friendship. Friendship, or you can also say, teammate and building a team. If you're building a business, it might be co-founders. If you're a musician and you're playing chamber music, it might be your colleague, your chamber music colleagues, or whatever. And it is important to build really good relationships, friendships. So it comes from mutual esteem. So to esteem, not always talk bad about your colleagues or think that you're much better than them, etc. He says esteem, respect, and devotion towards the people you work with, towards your friends, towards your family. Like marriage, it must not be taken for granted but requires a joint effort. This is actually something that we need to work on. It's not just, okay, it happens, we're friends forever, thank you, bye-bye, you know. And then going from friendship to loyalty. Loyalty not only to the people around you, but to yourself also. You need to be loyal to your values, to your personality. And he says, to yourself and to all those depending upon you, keep your self-respect. In friendship, we say respect, and in loyalty, he talks about self-respect, which we will see is really, really important. I don't want to dig too deep into those blocks. This is just an introduction. And we'll make a video per block. So then the next one is cooperation with all levels of your co-workers. Listen if you want to be heard. Be interested in finding the best way, not in having your own way. You know, I heard a sentence the other day saying, always listen to somebody thinking that that person knows something that you don't know. I think it's really useful. And the last part of the first round, I don't know how to call it, of blocks, the first foundation of blocks, enthusiasm. You need to be enthusiastic about what it is that you're doing. Think about it. You know, if you're not enthusiastic about your business, if you're not enthusiastic about your music, of your art, if you're not enthusiastic about what you're going to do, how are you ever going to succeed? How are you ever going to, work hard if you don't have the enthusiasm? How are you ever going to have the competitive greatness? How are you going to have confidence and poise and skills, building up your skills, if you don't have enthusiasm? And so what does he say here? Brushes off upon those with whom you come in contact. So it's not only being enthusiastic yourself, but being able to inspire the others around you also of being enthusiastic. They might be your co-workers, people that are playing with you in your band or in your chamber music group, in your orchestra, whatever, or your co-workers. You must truly enjoy what you are doing. So enthusiasm is really, really, really important. You must enjoy what you're doing. Even more so, you should be passionate about what you're doing. It has to be really congruent with your values and with your personality. Next stage, self-control. Self-control is so important. Self-discipline, it goes also kind of in the category of self-respect. Practice self-discipline and keep emotions under control. Good judgment and common sense are essential. Common sense is essential. Sometimes you're asking yourself a question and you know the answer because you have the common sense, but you try to go too complicated. You try to think too much outside of the box when you actually have a lot of the answers. So have the self-control, practice self-control. Control not only your emotions, but control, for me at the moment, is more about controlling my space and my time. But self-control is a really important block. And then there's alertness. Be observing constantly, stay open-minded, be eager to learn and improve. This is really important. For example, if you're reading a book and you don't like the book too much. For example, I have it here. Try not to move the camera. This book, I told you about it the other day, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It is a book that there's a lot that I don't agree with, and I got really annoyed by the author for being really arrogant, etc. But I always tell myself, okay, just stay open-minded, be eager to learn and improve. If there's even just one tiny little thing that I learned from this book, because I know that this person might know something that I don't know, so when I'm reading the book, I'm actually listening to that person's voice, really. This is part of alertness. It's really important to be eager to learn and to improve. Put your ego aside, have a little bit of humility, and dig into something so that you're always learning. The third block is initiative. I actually recorded an entire video only on initiative before, because I thought it was one of the most important ones. Because I had to take a decision for my startup, and we'll see that initiative is the ability to make decisions and to have the courage to make the decisions, to make not the right decision, but to actually make a decision. Take initiative, take control if it's of your company. In my case, it's for my startup, my tech startup, but in your case, it might be something else. Take the initiative to take a decision, be courageous, have guts, Don't just stand back and be a coward because there's if there's something that you don't like, or you should say it, you should express yourself. Be respectful, but express yourself. And if there's changes to be made either in your band because somebody just does not comply, then have initiative, change things, take action, make decisions. And do not be afraid of failure, but learn from it. So in this chapter, initiative, we're going to be talking about mistakes. What is a good mistake? What is a bad mistake? And we'll see that a good mistake is when you learn, and a bad mistake is just when it just repeats itself and you don't actually learn anything. That's a bad mistake. Intentiveness, set a realistic goal, concentrate on its achievement by resisting all temptations and being determined and persistent. I like this phrase that I heard, and I'm not sure who said it. Maybe it's Gary Vaynerchuk, maybe not. I'm not sure, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's think big and act small. So think about the big picture, the big picture. But every single goal that creates that big picture, that creates the end goal, if you will, needs to be realistic, because you have to be able to achieve it. So make your goals very small, very easy, very simple, one by one, with the progress, with your initiative, with your industriousness, with your enthusiasm. Then your goals will get bigger with time, and you will go up in the pyramid. But it's really important to set a realistic goal, concentrate on its achievement by resisting all temptations and being determined and persistent. So just keep at it. Be flexible, of course, be alert, be in control, but go at it. The next one, condition, mental, moral, and physical condition. I talk about it every day. I go to the gym every single morning at 6 a.m. and there's a lot of reasons for that, but my mental, moral, and physical condition really depends on me going to the gym every single morning at 6 a.m. Why 6 a.m.? I talked about it also because it allows me to have space, because there's less people, but also because exercise has a ripple effect. So for example, it improves your mood for 12 whole hours, it improves your mood. So this is, for me, this is really important. Meditation also in the morning for my mental conditioning, and my moral conditioning actually kind of goes with my physical conditioning. And note that the first thing that he says before exercise is rest, because as you will see, elite athletes rest much more than they train. And it's not just rest, it's recuperation. If you want to work hard, you need to recuperate hard. And during this recuperation, your brain will still be working in default mode. We'll talk about this in details, but it's really important. And of course, diet must be considered, and I would say sleep, of course. Sleep is very, very important. I get up between 3:30 and 4 now, but I know that I need my sleep. If I don't have my sleep, I won't be in good condition. So rest, exercise, diet, sleep. I would also add meditation. I think that meditation is essential, whether you're a musician that wants to perform at your best, get rid of the nerves, or whether you're a businessman that needs to take really important decisions, or anything that you do. Meditation is just brushing the teeth of your brain. And studies have been made, it's been proved, it is really, really, really important. So try it out. We will talk about meditation later in the channel. Moderation must be practiced, so moderation, and don't exaggerate. And don't exaggerate not only about wine, for example, don't drink too much wine, but moderation also for your exercise. Exercise moderately, like don't exhaust yourself, don't under rest, don't, of course, moderate your diet and your sleep. Dissipation must be eliminated. So we understand that, right? Skill, I really like skill because every skill could be learned. A knowledge of and the ability to properly and quickly execute the fundamentals. So skills, if you want to be good at something, you need to practice. If you want to play the trombone, you need to practice. If you want to be a really good piano player, you need to practice. If you want to be a basketball player, you need to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Build up your skills. Always build up your skills. It is not impossible to build any skill, actually. You can build any skill that you want, as long as you have the industriousness, the enthusiasm, that you take initiative into learning it, and that you can condition yourself properly. But skills is very, very important. We'll talk a lot about it. Be prepared and cover every little detail. An anecdote on Coach Wooden, who is ESPN, the sports TV channel, said that John Wooden was the best basketball coach ever. He's not only in the Hall of Fame, they named him as the best basketball coach of all times. And when he used to train his players, this is just a funny little anecdote, he used to, in those skill block, he used to train his players how to put on his socks. So the first few hours of training with Coach Wooden was, how do you put on your socks properly? And the theory there was, look, if you're not a complete master, it might sound funny, but if you're not a complete master in putting on your socks, maybe you're not going to put it very well one day, and there might be like a little wrinkle, a little crease. And that little wrinkle, little crease, if you train really hard, like you work really hard, so on your foot, it might create a little blister. And if it creates a blister, then you won't be able to work so hard because your foot will hurt. And if you can't, and if you don't work very hard, then you won't perform as good. And if you won't perform as good, you won't win the game. So it all starts with putting on your socks properly. I did a lot of martial arts and judo in particular, and every single session you start by falling down, by rolling front, side and backwards, because those are the basics, know how to fall. And in basketball for him, it was just learn how to put your socks on properly so that you know that you will never have a blister, you can work the best you can, etc. So it might seem a little bit of an overkill, but it's not, because he won 10 championships in a row. It has never been done, and it has never been done since. Team spirit is really important. Team spirit doesn't mean that there's one team and one spirit that the whole team shares, Everybody has its own spirit, but there's a team spirit also. A genuine consideration of others, an eagerness to sacrifice personal interests of glory for the welfare of all. So for basketball, it can be, don't try to always score. Maybe you have to also sacrifice your personal interest of scoring and working really hard on the defense so that the other team can score. And maybe working on the defense might not be as prestigious as working on offense and scoring a lot of points, but it's very, very important. It's all part of team spirit. Same thing for musicians. If you're playing a chamber music piece and you don't have the melody at that part, for example, you know, don't play louder than the person that has the melody. Or if you're working in a startup, you know, everybody has his role, and I think that every role should be considered as important as another person. So the bass is not less important, than the solo instrument or the soprano or whatever. And a back-end engineer is not more important than the UX designer. It all works together. If you're a team, you're a team. Next up, poise. Poise is about just being yourself, being at ease in any situation, never fighting yourself. Poise, we're going to talk a lot about poise, of course, since if we want to concentrate on music, for example, poise will be essential so that you can perform at your best, because you will be able to handle your nerves on stage. This is really important. And of course, when you have big games for the basketball coach, poise is very, very important. And it goes a little bit hand in hand with self-control. And then confidence, you know, you don't be cocky, don't be arrogant, but you need confidence. You need confidence towards yourself, you need confidence towards your teammates. So confidence for him is respect without fear, may come from being prepared and keeping all things in proper perspective. Confidence is really, really, really important. And let's go up to the last part, which is competitive greatness. Be at your best when your best is needed. Enjoyment of a difficult challenge. So when a difficult challenge comes to you, just say, right on, you know, like you're ready to execute. It's like, bring it on. There's a tool from the book Tools, we can talk about it. It's I forget the name exact of that tool, but basically it's enjoying the pain, enjoying the fear. So when there's something difficult coming at you, just look at it and say, bring it on, you know, like you can do it. And this is how you'll have competitive greatness. You see it in you know, boxers when they talk to each other, they trash talk each other, and it's all about this. It's not only positive affirmation, it's not only about trying to intimidate the other person, but it's all about competitive greatness. There's something that's going to be difficult, a difficult challenge, and a competitor enjoys the challenge. A competitor is training his whole life so that he can be at his best when it is needed. For musicians, you need to be at your best on performance day. If you have a concert, you need to be able to prepare to the concert so that the day of the concert you are the best possible and you can perform the best possible, whether it's to win an audition or if you're playing a recital or whatever. And that comes from a lot of different things, and all those are part of that training so that you can be at your peak. We talked about conditioning, for example. It's just an example, but it's very striking here, because if on the day of the concert or on the day of the game or of the pitch, if you're pitching for investors or whatever, if you have not rested enough, then you won't be at your peak and you won't have the competitive greatness. You'll just be tired. So that's it. Those are all the blocks. Now, next to the blocks are those side blocks. There's a name for it and I forgot, but ambition is really, really important so that you can have a noble goal. What is your noble goal? Earning as much money as possible, being super famous is not like a noble goal. A noble goal is interior, adaptability to any situation. We talked a little bit about it in alertness, but you know, things happen, things change. You need to be able to adapt to any situation at any given time. And you need to adapt, you need to be resourceful. You have to have a lot of tricks in your bag, in your sleeves, and practice proper judgment. You need to be resourceful in your judgment. You need to be resourceful in your decisions. fight, determined effort. You need to be willing to, really go for it. Just go for it. You need to fight for what you believe in. Let's go back down before we talk about those two up there. Sincerity. Sincerity keep friends. Sincerity goes with loyalty. Sincerity goes with team spirit. Sincerity goes with friendship. Sincerity goes with it goes with everything basically. And honesty and sincerity is not actually the same thing. We'll talk about it in videos specific to those. But you need to be honest, not only in thought but in action. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Reliability. If you're part of a team, or if you're part of a group, of an orchestra, or if you're part of a startup, you need to be reliable. If you are reliable, if people know that you are the person they can count on, it will create respect. And last but not least, integrity, purity of intention. So integrity is being honest and being honorable towards your values, towards what you really believe in, and have pure intentions. We talk a lot about business, of course, and talking about business, making money, you have to do this consciously. I don't think that capitalism is bad as an all, but you have to do it with your morals. It's not like let's get rich and make other people poor. It's follow your purpose, follow your values. You need integrity for that. And of course, success can only come if you really have a sense of integrity. Of course, you can become very rich if you're a monster. You can become the president if you're a monster. But in his definition of success, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become your best, and having the peace of mind of that, then you need to have integrity. And I kept the last two because faith, well, he is quite religious. He's quite a religious Christian, and I am not. But faith is not just faith through prayer. Faith can be also faith through visualization. Faith can be just faith of yourself, knowing that you deserve what you... if you respect all these things and you work really hard and you're very loyal and you're confident and you're part of a team and you have skill and you condition yourself and you have poise and honesty and sincerity and reliability and integrity, have faith in yourself. You don't have to have faith in any exterior force. You are the exterior force. Your passion is the exterior force. So have faith in that. And of course, patience. Patience is the hardest. The hardest of everything here is patience, because you won't have fast results. If you want something great, if you want to be great, it cannot happen overnight. Overnight success takes years. There is no such thing as just waking up the next day and being great. You need patience. You need patience to build all those blocks to get here. So that's it for today's video, actually. In the next one, we will start directly with industriousness. We're going to talk about hard work, how to work for best results, etc. If you've enjoyed this video, please put a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed yet, then you might consider doing so, because we will talk a lot about all these things in the future. Take care and have a good night. Bye.